that we have guaranteed in our Constitution that this even has to become before a court. It is so clear, that it is unconstitutional to compel speech against someone's beliefs, political, religious beliefs. These are what our nation is founded on. And to compel these clinics to do this is something that shouldn't even enter the thoughts of anyone. Again, we would never compel any other nonprofit existing on donations in the neighborhood, providing things to people in those neighborhoods and communities. We wouldn't think of compelling, again, political speech. We wouldn't think of compelling religious activity. And yet here, California attempts to compel these volunteers, these clinics, who work providing such a valuable choice to the women in their community, want to compel them to essentially refer for an abortion that is against all the deeply held beliefs of these individuals. Now, Mr. Speaker, we have a few minutes left. I want to read the stories of some of the women who go to these clinics, because this really is about choice. This is about institutions in a community that offer true choice. So let me first tell you about Miranda. And these are stories from the pregnancy centers in my community. 19-year-old Miranda came to this pregnancy center with her boyfriend and learned she was 9 weeks pregnant. Now, Miranda worked 9 hours a day as a cashier at a Home Depot, and she honestly was not happy with the positive results of her test. She didn't think she could raise a baby, and nobody had any faith in her. You see, a year earlier, Miranda had had an abortion. She still cries at the recollection and feels the pain of what she had done. She didn't want to make that choice again, but her circumstances hadn't changed, and she felt that that's what she had to do. Now, the volunteer counselor praised Miranda for working full-time and getting her GED. The volunteer counselor explained how Miranda could obtain health care, and how that clinic's Earn While You Learn program would educate her on prenatal care and parenting, as well as provide her with much-needed baby supplies once the baby was born. Then Miranda saw the fetal models depicting a 9-week-old fetus. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. She asked so many questions like, when does the heart start beating? Would it be possible for her to hear the beating heart? When does the baby start kicking? You see, Miranda explained that the abortion clinic she had been to a year before never told her about the development of the baby. She had been 15 weeks pregnant at the time she was aborted. It was so surprising for her to see the truth in those baby models. Nobody ever told her that her baby had been so fully developed. Miranda said that the best part coming to the pregnancy center was that they, quote, told her she can do it. You see, she'd never heard that before. Nobody had ever told her that. She had a real choice now. Or a story about Laura. When Laura came to the center 2 years ago, she was feeling nauseated and miserable. The timing of her pregnancy couldn't be worse. She had recently discovered that her mother had been diagnosed with late-stage liver disease. Laura, too, was post-abortive. Her previous abortion was a terrible experience that left her emotionally scarred, of course, as it leaves many women. She didn't want to have another abortion, but felt she had no choice. She wanted to be there for her mom during her mother's time of need. Now, the volunteer clinic advocate in the clinic spent lots of time just listening to Laura. It became clear that Laura really wanted to keep her baby, but was lost in trying to figure out how. And Mr. Speaker, this is a recurring story in these pregnancy centers. These women, there's a reason why they used to be called crisis pregnancy centers. These are women frequently in crisis who want to have that choice but don't see the way out of their circumstances. Well, this counselor helped Laura navigate through the muddy waters of her life and envision a future with her child. Soon, Laura's fear began to subside. A sonogram revealed a 7-week-old baby. In a tearful voice, Laura said, quote, "That's my baby." Since then, Laura has returned to the center weekly, participating in their prenatal education classes. She actually moved in with her mother so she could help her through her illness. And Laura's hope is that her mom will be strong enough to hold the baby and spend her last days on earth with her grandchild. Mr. Speaker, that's the kind of hope that pregnancy centers give women and their families. And often 2 lives are saved in these pregnancy centers, the child and the mother's. You know, an unplanned pregnancy can provide an opportunity and inspiration for a woman to get her life back on track, to actually start, in these 2 cases, to start the family. A pregnancy can give a woman a reason to live, to take care of that child, a reason to go back to school, to finish her education, as we heard about Miranda, a reason to reconcile with her family. You know, as a father of 5, and everyone who's been a parent knows this, we know how parenthood transforms a person, truly fundamentally transforms a person, well before the child is born. You know, from the time you know that you are going to have a new baby in the family, as well as every moment afterward. Life is precious. Life is priceless. Pregnancy centers support women during every step of that journey of providing life, a new life, a gift from God. And Mr. Speaker, next week, the court will hear a case that perhaps threatens the very existence of crisis pregnancy centers and pro-life pregnancy centers in the United States. I hope that those 9 justices have the wisdom to see that in America, that a jurisdiction, whether it's California or Baltimore, or Montgomery County or Austin, Texas, or any of the jurisdictions that have tried to compel speech in these pregnancy centers, are violating our constitutional rights, and worse than that, are really affecting valuable resources in our community, the most valuable resource a woman with a crisis pregnancy can have. Mr. Speaker, with that, I yield back the balance of the time.